Hello students, a very good morning to all. In continuation to our last lecture where we were discussing about the radial and angular wave functions, in this video lecture, we'll be discussing about radial and angular wave functions along with probability distribution curves and shapes of s, p and d orbitals. So let's get started. So, based upon the Schrodinger wave equation, we have converted the Schrodinger wave equation into the spherical polar coordinate forms, polar coordinate form, where psi has been divided into two parts, the radial part and the angular part. It is the multiplication of the both. Radial part is dependent upon two quantum numbers, that is n and l, where n is principal quantum number and l is angular quantum number. While our angular part, so azimuthal quantum number, while the angular part is dependent upon L and M, where L is the azimuthal quantum number and M is the magnetic quantum number. So let's first discuss about the radial part. These are the values of solutions for the radial part of the wave functions for different orbitals. Here we have taken 1s orbital for which n is 1 as it is 1 is written here, and for s value of l is 0, it is 1s orbital, and solution of radial part comes out to be this. Here we can see that for all the orbitals, for all the three orbitals which we have mentioned here, for which the radial part has been written, we can see that the radial part is majorly dependent upon this exponential term, that is e raised to power minus z r divided by a naught n. This is the exponential term which is present in all the all the solution of all the orbitals for the radial part. So here the a naught is the radius of the first Bohr orbit for hydrogen atom, where n is the principal quantum number and z is the atomic number. Now we put the values for hydrogen atom as we are discussing for the hydrogen atom, and we'll try to correlate it with the electron density present around the nucleus, and we'll see the variation of electron density with radius as we move away from the nucleus. So let us try to plot these radial part graphically with let us see the variation of capital R, that is radial radial part of the wave function, and the with radius. So here if we plot this radial part with this radial part on the y-axis and radius on the x-axis, we'll get a curve like this exponential. This is an exponential curve. So now for such type of curves, whenever we want to know that what is the value of r for which the value of y-axis is going to be 0, then what we'll have to do is we'll equate this whole term with 0. We'll put the value of capital R as 0 and we'll solve this equation for small r. Then we'll get the value of radius for which capital R is 0. And here for 1s orbital, that value comes out to be infinity. Here we can see that for this curve, when the value of small r, that is radius from the nucleus, the distance of electron from the nucleus is 0, radial probability, the electron density is maximum. This is the curve for 1s orbital. Next we have for 2s orbital. Here two multiplication terms are there. One is this and second is this. Here also first we'll try to find the region where electron density is 0, which is called as node. This I have already explained you, that region around the space, region in space around the nucleus where electron density is 0, that we call it as node. So here two multiplication terms are there. If we put this whole term equal to 0, then that means either this is equal to 0 or this is equal to 0. If this term is equal to 0, then the value of r comes out to be 2a naught. That is, the first node will be present at 2 multiplied by radius of first Bohr orbit. That is, if radius of first Bohr orbit is 0.529, that means it is going to be 1.058, or we can say 1.06 angstrom. And for the second region, the minimum electron density, or we can say zero electron density region, have been found to be at infinity for 2s orbital. But in between, as we plot this curve for the capital R versus R, we find we can see that for this curve there comes a region after the first node where the electron density becomes zero. As we are correlating this electron density with the probability of finding the electron, but probability can never be zero. So there must be a flaw that we cannot take it as take this electron density, or we can say we cannot take this radial part of the wave function directly. We cannot correlate it directly to the probability of finding the electron. We'll have to take something else. Similarly, if we want to see for 2p orbital, here also the shape of the curve comes out to be like this, but here at the where the value of capital R, that is radial part of the wave function, is 0 at distance 0 from the nucleus, and it exhibits a maxima at some distance from the nucleus, and ultimately at infinity it also becomes 0. And for 3s orbital the shape is like this. So here we find two nodes. So for the finding of number of nodes, we have the formula that number of nodes, or we can say radial nodes, are equal to n minus L minus 1, where if, let's see, for 3s orbital and the value of n is 3, the value of L is 0, and the formula is n minus L minus 1. That means 3 minus 0 minus 1. That means two nodes are going to be there. So here, as the curve represents, there are two nodes. So from all the curves which we have discussed so far, we have found that for s orbitals, for 1s and 2s orbitals, both at r is equal to 0, this radial wave function has been found to be maximum. That means if we are correlating it with electron probability of finding an electron, that means at that position, or if we are correlating it with electron density, then that means that uh, electron is present inside the nucleus or at the surface of the nucleus, which is not possible, as we have already discussed it based upon the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that electron can never exist inside or exactly on the nucleus. So we'll have to take something else. Second thing is, electron density comes out to be negative at some places, like we have seen for this. But this is again not possible. Density can never be negative, or we can say probability of finding the electron can never be negative. Probability is always equal to or greater than 0. Probability is always positive. It can never be negative. But here it comes out to be negative, so it cannot be the probability which is defined by the wave function. Let us try by taking out the term as r square. So if we take here on this axis, if we take r square, then what we'll get is, then we'll get that if we are taking, sorry, before that I would like to discuss, these are the the variation of radial part of the wave function for 3d orbital, for 4f orbital. Here we have shown here that for the first orbital of each type didn't have any node. This is also based upon the formula that number of radial nodes are equal to n minus L minus 1. So let us say for 3d orbital, this is the first orbital for the d subshell, where we have 3d orbital. With 2d orbitals doesn't exist. This is based upon the value of possible values of L. If n is equal to 2, let us see if 2d exists or not. For 2d, value of n is 2, and for d, the value of L should be 2. So based upon that, the possible values of, for a given value of n, the possible values of L should be 0 to n minus 1. This we have already discussed. So for n is equal to 2, L can have the values of 0 and 1, not 2. So 2d orbitals doesn't exist. So this is the first orbital of its type, and for F, 4f is the first orbital. So here this is a point to be noted that first orbital of each type didn't have any nodes, and variation of capital R, that is radial wave function, was positive everywhere and all possess a maxima. So for first orbital of every type, for the radial part there was no negative part, but for the successive orbitals there was negative part. For the radial wave function was found to be there, negative value was found to be there. So based upon this, let us try this thing for R square, as this is not possible if we cannot correlate this thing with the probability. So if we take R square there, R square, for R square, the value of the curve as 0. Yeah, here. So for R square, if we take R square here, the value of the plot of radial wave function for R, for 1s orbital, let us assume here we are plotting here as R square. We are taking the value of, we are having a look at the evaluating the value of R square with R. What will happen is, here this value will remain the same or it will double. That is the probability of finding the electron at nucleus has not become 0 even after squaring it. But the problem of negative value has been solved by squaring it. So something else has to be done. There is scope of further improvement. Let us see what we can do. But before that, we'll discuss the angular part. These are the angular part predicts about the shape of electron cloud and its orientation in space. Here we have taken where we have discussed the radial part. So this is the radial part. This we have discussed here. For 2p orbital, as we know that there are 3 orientations possible for p orbital in space, but radial part, the value of radial part of the wave function is going to be same, as it doesn't depend upon the value of m. As for p orbital, value of L is just 1, but m has 3 values. So for p orbital, we have 3 values of angular part, but radial part is going to be same for all the 3 orbitals. Let us go to the angular part. So what does angular part tells us about? It predicts about the shape of the electron cloud and its orientation in space. So shape is defined by the value of theta, value of angle theta, which we just discussed while converting the radial coordinates to the spherical polar coordinates, Cartesian coordinates to the spherical polar coordinates, and geometry is represented by angle phi. So both are governed by 2 quantum numbers, that is L and M, and angular part is designated as A, which is dependent upon theta and phi. So here are the values of angular part for different orbitals. First is the 1s orbital, for which possible value of M is just 1, which is 0. So it is 1s orbital. Here we can see that for s orbital, M is having just 1 value, and for that angular wave function is independent of theta and phi. It is a simple constant. So from here we can see that it doesn't have any angular dependence. So s orbitals, so that is why, this is the reason why s orbitals are spherically symmetrical around the nucleus. They are not dependent upon any angle. Next we have value of L as 1, and possible values for one value of L are 0, +1 and -1. So these are the 3 possible values: 0, +1 and -1. So for this, three orbitals are there for p orbital, that is px, py and pz, and these are the values of three angular wave function, three parts for p orbital. Next we have value of n as 2, and for if the value of m, possible values of m for value of l as 2 are -2 to +2, that is -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. So there are 5 possible values. Here we are taking just one value, which is 0, which represents one of the d orbital, which is dz square, and for that angular part is this. So from here we can conclude that based upon this, s orbital can just have one shape, that is it is spherically symmetrical. P orbital can have three orientations in space and they have dumbbell shape. Based upon the angular part, when radial probability was plotted against the radius, the shapes have been found out for the orbitals that we'll be discussing in few minutes. And from here, the shape of the p orbital comes out to be dumbbell shape, and it has three possible orientations in space based upon the three values of m. And for d orbital, it has a double dumbbell shape and five possible orientations are there. For f orbitals, they have complicated shape and they have seven possible orientations in space. So for s orbital, angular wave function is independent of theta and phi, as we have already discussed. Here, the value of angular part of the s orbital comes out to be independent of theta and phi. It comes out to be a constant. So it is spherically symmetrical. For p and d, both depends upon theta and phi, so they have 3 and 5 orientations respectively. So now it is confirmed that radial part cannot be related to, radial probability cannot be related to just the radial part of the wave function. Now if we take r square, the problem of negative value was solved. This we have already discussed, but s orbitals are having maximum value at r is equal to 0, which is again a problem. So we need to think of something else, that to what value we should relate radial probability with. So let us consider for that, let us consider a volume element in space around the nucleus, dV. This volume element we are considering where the electron density is present. So this dV volume is the volume for a shell of thickness dr around the nucleus. So we are considering, so let us see, let us say this is a nucleus. Let us imagine a shell around the nucleus. Of the thickness of this shell is dr. So if we want to calculate the volume of this shell, what we'll do is we'll take the distance of the outer line from the center of the nucleus, that will call as r plus dr, and the distance of inner line of the shell from the center of the nucleus is r. So what we'll do is, for having the volume of this shell, we'll do 4 by 3 pi r cube, that is the volume of the inner sphere, will be subtracted from volume of the outer sphere. The volume of the outer sphere will be given by 4 by 3 pi bracket star r plus dr whole cube. So when we'll solve this mathematical term, we'll neglect these two terms where dr, square of dr and square of cube of dr is there, because these are very small values and we can ignore these terms. From here the value of dv comes out to be 4 pi r square dr. So from here total probability is given by, as this we already know that total probability is given by the product of volume of the shell and probability per unit volume in that shell. So this is the volume of the shell, and probability per unit volume in that shell will be given by r square. So now let us plot these two terms with r. Here this is a variation of r square which we have already done for 1s orbital, that it is going to be exponential term which will become 0 at infinity. And if we plot volume with radius will get a line like this, which has been shown with dotted line. Now, if we want to plot the product of both, we'll have to merge both these things. So, there were two problems while we plotted capital R, that is the radial part of the wave function, against R, that for s orbital the probability was found to be maximum at R is equal to 0. So when volume is 0, that problem has been solved by the multiplication of the volume term. So here this is the overall curve for the radial probability versus R, where at distance of r from the nucleus, the radial probability, when r is equal to 0, the radial probability is 0. Further, it passes through a maxima. This maxima has been shown here. And at infinity, it becomes 0 based upon this. As volume can never be 0 at infinity, but this term is going to be 0. So, both are compensating each other and giving us the value of overall radial probability. So these are the features of this curve, that it is having 0 probability at r is equal to 0, which is our requirement. It is almost 0 at r is equal to infinity, which is again our requirement. Next we have it passes through a maxima, and which gives us the maximum probability of finding the electron, which is equal to the Bohr radius. It was given by, so here again comes the Bohr's radius, that was also accepted by Schrodinger wave equation of the that was accepted by Schrodinger for his experimentation, that it was the radius where probability was maximum, but electron density can never be 0 before that or after that. This was predicted by Bohr, that electron is only present in that orbit, but according to Schrodinger, electron can be present anywhere around the nucleus, but maximum probability is at the radius which was predicted by Bohr. So now we can define the radial probability distribution. So this is a radial probability distribution of radial probability with R. So we can define it as that radial probability distribution between distance r is equal to 0 to r is equal to r will be given by summation of all the radial probability in between r is equal to 0 to r is equal to r. So it will be given by the integration of r square multiplied by 4 pi r square dr. Therefore, it will be given by the plot of this versus this, that is multiplication of 4 pi r square with capital R square versus R. So now we can define radial probability at a distance r, means at a distance small r is the total probability of finding electron at all points at distance r from the nucleus. So radial probability, if this is the nucleus, radial probability at a distance r, this is a point at a distance r. If this is distance r from this point, this is the nucleus, and we are saying that radial probability of finding the electron at a distance r from the nucleus, and the radial probability distribution is the radial probability of finding the radial probability of finding the electron at all points at distance r. So this is the distribution given by the graph, and radial probability at a distance r is the total probability of finding electron at all points at a distance r from the nucleus. So I hope now this is clear to you. Let's move further. Next we have plots of radial probability versus r, or we can say radial probability distribution curves for different orbitals. So these can be plotted by the multiplication of that volume element which we have considered and r square, which is the square of the wave function, which gives us the probability. So these curves have some high probability regions and some zero probability regions. Zero probability regions we have already defined are called as nodes, and formula for that is given by number of nodes, radial nodes we should say, because there are two types of nodes present in different orbitals, that is angular nodes and radial nodes. So number of radial nodes is given by n minus l minus 1, and for the number of high probability regions, the formula is n minus L. And for the formula of angular nodes, the formula is actually the angular nodes are equal to the value of L. That means if we are talking the number of angular nodes are independent of the value of principal quantum number. That means for S orbital, we have 0 angular node as it is spherically symmetrical and is independent of the angular part. And for p orbital, we have 1 angular node. For d orbitals, we have 2 angular nodes. And for f orbitals, we have 3 angular nodes. So let us have a look at the curves. So this is the formula of probability, and we are plotting it against R. This is for 1s orbital. Here we can define high probability regions. Number of high probability regions are going to be based upon the formula. Let us calculate n minus L. Here value of n is 1. For S, value of L is 0. That means 1. Number of nodes are going to be 0 based upon n minus L minus 1. So the shape of the curve is going to be like this, where this is the maxima is present as A0, which is radius of first Bohr orbit for hydrogen atom. Next we have 2s orbital. Here high probability regions, number of high probability regions are n minus L means 2 minus L is 0. So 2 high probability regions are going to be there and number of nodes are going to be n minus L minus 1. That means 2 minus 0 minus 1, that means 1. So we'll plot it like this. So here we can see that as we are moving towards higher principal quantum number, for s orbital there are high probability regions and number of nodes are also increasing, and the shape of the hump is this, and successive humps which we are plotting are bigger than the previous ones. As for 1s orbital, this is bigger, but for 2s orbital, this is a small hump, and next we have a bigger hump. This is based upon the size of the principal size of the shell which we are defining, where the probability of finding the electron is there. So as we move from 1s to 3s orbital, the size of the shell is increasing. Next we have for p orbital, this is the curve for 2p orbital. Next we have for 3p orbital. Here high probability regions are going to be based upon the formula n minus L. Value of L for p orbital is 1, n is 2. That means 1 high probability region and number of nodes is going to be 0. So it is going to be just 1 broad hump. Next for 3p orbital, 1 node and 2 high probability regions. This shape is little bit different from the s orbitals. This is based upon the fact that as we move to higher values of L, that is from S to P, then P to D, then D to F, what happens is the penetration of these orbitals into the nucleus decreases. That means these are, as we move towards higher value of L, these orbitals try to move away from the nucleus. So here we can see that for s orbital, so this is for 2s, this is for 3s, this is for 3p, and this is for 3s and this is for 3p. Let us compare these two. We can see that for s orbital, the first hump is very much inclined towards the y-axis, but for 3p orbital, the curve is plotted like it is shifted bit away from the nucleus, as electron density in the very start is minimum, and here electron density is very start is high. And further as we move to 3d, electron density just near to the nucleus is further less in comparison to 3p, and which is further less in comparison to 3s. So this is dependent upon that, upon the fact that as we move to higher L values, what happens is the orbitals become, the shapes of the orbitals are such that they become, the shapes of they are present just away from the nucleus, in comparison to the lower L values or lower L valued orbitals. So this is how we plot radial probability distribution curves for finding the electron around the nucleus. Here one thing I need to discuss here, that here for this is for 3s, this is for 3p, and this is for 3d. Here the value of n is same for all, that is n is 3. So the distance from the nucleus to the end of the curve is shown as same. That means it is varying from 0 to 1400. So the curves have been plotted in this particular distance, and if we compare 2s with 3s, here it is from 0 to 800 and it is from 0 to 1400. With the increase in value of n, what is happening is distance of the probability region around the nucleus is increasing. That means here we are considering, here the size of the orbit is smaller in comparison to the size of the orbit for n is equal to 3, and n is equal to 2 is smaller in comparison to n is equal to 3. So if you are asked in exams to plot the radial probability distribution curves for 3s, 3p, and 3d, you need to keep this thing in mind, that you are plotting this on the same scale, as the size of the principal shell is going to be same. And if you are asked to plot for 2p and 3p, here you will have to increase this distance, increase this r value. Based upon that, you will have to change the scale. So these are the points. Here the shifting away of the higher valued L orbitals, that is, here we can see that for 4d orbital, the electron density high probability region is starting just away from the principal, from the origin, that is where the nucleus is present, and for 4f orbital it is further away from the nucleus. So this tells us that the shape of the d and f orbitals are such that these are their high probability regions are present bit away from the nucleus. They are not penetrated into the nucleus. This will be discussing this effect, this penetration of s orbitals greater than a penetration of s orbitals which is maximum. This further explains about the effective nuclear charge, which we'll be discussing in this later rules. So next we have shapes of orbitals. So shapes of orbitals, first we are going to discuss the s orbitals. For s orbitals, the value of L is 0 and M is also 0. For value of L as 0, M can have just one value. Just one value of M is there, that means it has just one orientation in space. Also the angular part of the wave function is a constant which is independent of theta and phi. So it is non-directional, it is spherically symmetrical. So we have taken here three axes, that we have taken three Cartesian coordinates in three-dimensional space, which are representing the three-dimensional space. The black dot in the center is representing the nucleus, and for 1s orbital there is no node, and electron density is shown as dotted spherical area, which is not having any sharp boundary. So for 2s orbital, based upon the formula that there is one node which is equal to n minus L minus 1. So for here, for that number of nodes comes out to be 1. So here the radial node will be shown as a spherical shell in between the two high probability regions. The two high probability regions are shown by the dotted area, and the radial node is shown by the blank shell present in between the two dotted areas around the nucleus. So for 3s orbital, two radial nodes are there, so radial nodes are shown here. For the case of s orbitals, no angular node is present, because for s orbital the value is 0. That means 0 angular node is there. So this is how we plot the orbitals. We show the electron density in case of orbitals in three-dimensional space. Here also you can see that as the value of n is increasing, the size of the shell is increasing. These are the features of s orbitals. So all the s orbitals are spherically symmetrical. Effective size increases with increase in the value of n. This we have already discussed. Each orbital is associated with high probability region and nodes. Here specifically just we'll talk about the radial nodes for s orbital, where probability of finding electron is maximum, except for 1s there is 0 node. So next we have p orbitals. This we'll be discussing in the next video. So that is it for this video. I hope you have understood many things. If you have any doubts, you can always ask me. You can comment on the video. I'll answer. Thank you so much. That is it for today.